Hi, I'm Lynne the Family Angel from the Happy Family community on Facebook. And today I want to share with you something else that I learnt while I was on my adventure in the Atlas Mountains in Morocco. Today's nugget of wisdom that the mountain gave me comes from Summit Day. Now, Summit Day, we woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning. It was like a military operation getting up. There was silence, nobody spoke. Everybody seemed to move almost with a synchronicity. The only light we had was the light from our headlamps, and there was an air of nervousness that I hadn't felt before. At 5 o'clock, when we set out, we had crampons on our boots that we'd not used before, and we had an ice axe in our hand, again, which we'd not used before. So the nerves were a lot higher. It was pitch black. We could only see from the lights the person in front of us, and so yet again we were following the boots or the footsteps of the person in front of us. And to be honest, every day when we started, the first 10 minutes was always hard work. You know, you couldn't breathe that well, your body didn't seem to be working with you, and it was hard, but in previous days, after 10 minutes, things started to get a bit better. Your breathing got better, your legs started to seem to work by themselves, and things improved drastically. I sort of expected that would happen on Summit Day. Didn't really happen like that. It was hard from the off, and I was really struggling to breathe, and my heart was racing. I could really feel it very strongly, much more so than before. And the more we got up the mountain, the higher we got, the heavier my legs got. Every step just seemed to be hard work. Now, we had been told that the first hour and a half was the hardest, so I kept thinking, okay, once we get through this hour and a half, it'll get a bit easier. I've just got to get through. Unbeknownst to me, we'd well past the hour and a half. And on a couple of occasions, I have to be honest, I did think about turning back. First, when two of the other ladies chose to go back, and then a little bit further up, and another lady still in the group said that she would come back with me if I made that decision. And you think, oh no, do I really want to do this? Do I really want to go back? But it was getting harder and harder, and there was a time scale for us to get to the top, and the guide wanted us to go faster. And eventually, although I tried one more time to make it and to muster up this energy, we'd been on the mountain 3 hours, and I was only halfway to the summit. And I just thought, I have to admit, right here, right now, I'm not going to do it. When I first made that decision, and Jenny, one of the other ladies, and I turned back to be led back by the cook, as it turned out, my first feeling was relief, absolutely relief, that I didn't have to worry about it anymore, I didn't have to push my body anymore. There was a long walk ahead of us, don't get me wrong, but we were on our way down, and so my first feeling was relief. But sadly, relief didn't last long. And it didn't take long before relief went to frustration and sadness and anger almost that I hadn't been able to make myself do it. It was a long day, a really long day. And nobody could say anything to me that day that would have made me feel better. We set off at 5 in the morning. It took till 5 at night to get to the place that we were staying at. And although Mick and one of the other ladies tried to make me see the positive in what I'd done, what I'd achieved, on that day, on Summit Day, it wasn't happening for me. The next morning, I woke up and I still felt sad. And I thought, this is no good. There was a celebration meal booked for that night, and also it was one of the ladies, Annie, it was her birthday. And so it needed to be a good day, and I didn't feel good. I still felt demoralised. So I thought, okay, I've got to tune in. I've got to tune into my guides and my angels and get some, enlightenment on this. And so sure enough, I meditated for half an hour. And what I was told was, has turned out to be huge in my life, absolutely huge. the previous day, people kept saying to me, well, especially Annie, you have been climbing a mountain for days, because I kept saying, I wanted to climb the mountain, I wanted to climb the mountain. And they were telling me that I was climbing the mountain, and sure enough, during the meditation, that's what I was shown, that, to be honest, for 4 days, I had been climbing a mountain. I had been pushing myself outside my comfort zone. I had been in one of the most beautiful places I've ever been, away from, main civilization, almost talking to the mountains. It was fantastic. And I was letting the fact that I hadn't summited, well, I let it shadow the whole of my journey. And what I realised was, it wasn't about summiting. It was about the experience. And that was what was really important, the experience. I pushed myself out of my comfort zone. It was about the experience. And in actual fact, if I'd summited, I wouldn't have learnt this lesson. Many times in my life, people have told me I'm a perfectionist, and I didn't quite get that, because I thought I never did anything perfect. And so how could I be a perfectionist? But actually, what I was doing was saying to myself, well, that wasn't perfect, and that wasn't perfect, and you haven't done this perfect. And all the time I was telling myself I wasn't good enough and that I kept failing. The truth was, it is the experience that counts. The experience that counts. What I did out in the mountains had a huge effect on my life since I came back. And I think sometimes in everyday life we set our goals and we aim to get there, and if we get there we think we're successful. Even with our children with exam results, the GCSEs, the A-levels, the degrees, you've got to get all these exams, otherwise your life isn't worth living. It's so not the truth, actually. It's the experience that counts. It's the experiences that we have in life. It's what we make of life. So, for ourselves and for our families and for our children, what can you do today to create a wonderful experience, to create something that you can grow from, to create a memory that will stay with you for the rest of your life? Start thinking about the experience and see what difference it makes to your life. Every time I think to myself now, can I do this? Can I really do this? Can I step up? There's a little voice in my head that goes, hell yes, you've climbed a mountain. Of course you can step up. I hope you can find that little voice in your head. I'm Lynne the Family Angel from the Happy Family Community on Facebook.